Hello and welcome to the Millionaire's Quest. I am your host, Dr. Jen Furch, and I have here with us the lovely Lisa Barnett, and she is a best-selling author of The Infinite Wisdom of the Akashic Records, and her newest book, From Questioning to Knowing, which you can find on Amazon, so I would suggest you look there and look her up. But she's also the founder and teacher of the Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom. And so you might be asking yourself right now, you know, what does this have to do with the millionaire's quest, my quest to become prosperous and abundant and feel that essence of all that I am within me? And I'm going to tell you, it has everything to do with it, because your past and the wisdom within you is all about knowing how to access your soul purpose and your soulful wisdom within you. And this is all held within your Akashic Records. So if you're struggling and you're wondering, you know, what is my purpose? You know, how do I make this easier? I want to tell you that Lisa is going to really shine a light on why this is so important. So thank you so much for being here today and helping our audience really see the importance of this inner wisdom of the Akashic Records. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jen, because it really is so important. I appreciate having this opportunity to share this with your listeners, because the information has been hidden really for thousands of years. And so many people don't even know what the Akashic Records are or how they might be useful. So I always appreciate a chance to share that and, you know, their connection to abundance, which is pretty profound.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you take some time and tell us a little bit about you, how you engaged with this quest and connected with this information? Because, you know, the Millionaire's Quest is all about, you know, we've brought in all these experts who have figured out something that most of us haven't figured out, how to connect with that soul passion, that soul purpose, and the way in which they have. So give us a little bit of background about you and how you're expressing this passion for us right now.
Okay. Well, you know, my journey has been a lifelong journey. I first really woke up when I was about 3 years old. So I realized I was in a human form, kind of trapped here in a body again, was my reaction as a 3-year-old. And so I started my quest very, very young. In my teens, I started reading everything I could get my hands on. And, you know, I tried the kind of corporate world. I worked 15 years in advertising. And it really drove me into kind of a deep illness. I had pretty bad chronic fatigue and, you know, all sorts of things that go with that sort of illness. And what happened was, after about a year of working with acupuncturists and, you know, different alternative medicine, someone said to me, you know, you should really have you know, like a reading and see what's underneath this. And I was like, oh, well, you know, that's a good idea. That's kind of up my alley, although I'd never actually had a reading before. So the wonderful clairvoyant woman that I spoke to kind of looked at me and she said, well, you know, you're a healer. I mean, that's your sole purpose. You're not getting there working in advertising. And I was like, huh?
Wow.
Really? I forgot my 3-year-old, you know, epiphanies and my really teenage, you know, 7-8 year quest of seeking, and kind of got wrapped up in that corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of did a 180, started studying energy medicine, healing, intuitive reading, everything I could get my hands on. And eventually it led me into the Akashic Records. I was blessed to have the record keepers start to speak to me and give me guidance. And it actually took me a couple of years to figure out who it was who was speaking to me. I was a little slow on the uptake there. But once I realized that this work was part of my soul path, my life literally changed.
Hmm.
So finding a purpose and a path can be really life transforming
Right.
for some, and of course not for all, because we have more than one purpose.
Yeah.
So we might be on part of a path, and it just takes a little realignment to get really, squared away, and everything will change. And that's true about our abundance also.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So for everybody out there, for everybody listening, can you just give us, that blanket definition? Like, what is the Akashic Records? And then we'll move deeper into how that helps us ignite our soul path and our millionaire's quest. But what is the Akashic Records?
So the Akashic Records are the records of your soul
Okay.
from the time your soul individuates from source until it eventually returns home. So this actually includes human lives, but not only human lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it includes lifetimes in other realms or dimensions, lifetimes in between. And we actually here as humans, most of us live something like 600 to 800 lives on Earth alone. So tons of information just from that.
Right. Okay.
Which can be kind of startling, I've got to say. For me, it really was. I was like, are you joking me here? But one of the fascinating things is that when we go from being etheric, big, ancient, wise souls
Mm-hmm.
into having a human experience,
Mm-hmm.
part of the purpose is to remember and wake up again. And so we actually write a soul plan. We set out, we're going to do this. I'm going to finish that karma. I'm going to support these people. So we have contracts, and we really have an idea what we want to do. I have gifts and talents I want to share. I want to be of service in this sort of way. These are some of my purposes. And
Mm-hmm.
then we show up here in a body and we totally forget the whole darn thing.
Yeah.
So really the very amazing gift of the Akashic Records is that this is recorded in your records.
Okay.
Your soul plan, your soul contracts, the karma you want to finish, where some of that stemmed from.
Mm-hmm.
And you have record keepers who are here to support you. So you can actually converse with them and say, what was I thinking when I picked this family? Or what is my soul plan? Or how can I make more money with my business?
Right.
And they're there to help us.
Okay. So let me just kind of reframe what you've said. So we've had many, many, many lifetimes.
Yes.
And through that essence of us having our lessons and experiences, we've downloaded this information. And what I hear you saying is not only our own information, but information of the times, of all the different things that have happened. And we have the ability to access that. And the reason in our lifetime right now to access that is to help us move forward in our purpose, in the immediate, in the essence of who we are now. If we can access that, it'll help us bring about our mission and our plan and our business building or our self-love and things like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. And of course, it will help us with our life situations. Of course, it will help us with our business or our careers, but it also helps us with our relationships and our families. And to actually remember some of the soul plan you made is really useful in so many different ways, and again to reclaim some of those gifts and talents that you've had in those other lifetimes, because many of us have been entrepreneurs, very creative types, whether we writing books or having businesses or being healers. So many of these aspects we've done again and again in other lifetimes. So it's useful to be able to, reclaim that and say, okay, I know that's the truth of who I am.
Right. It's not like you need to go back and learn it all. You just need to awaken the remembering of your gifts. Of course. So my next question is how do we do that? So we're here, we know it's all within us, it's around us, it's in our field, it's our energetic DNA, if you will. How do we connect with those guides, with our record, with this essence of knowing that we're getting that type of guidance? How do I know?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. And again, one of the reasons I find the Akashic Records to be so almost linearly useful is that we can have these whole conversations and ask a lot of questions and get some really, really solid answers. And one of the ways we do that is by learning to access your own Akashic Records.
Okay.
So, I teach people to do this online, through home study courses. There's a couple options in learning how to do it, but the record keepers have given me a simple 5-step wisdom prayer system. So you don't have to meditate for 20 years,
Well,
you
say they're like, well, I don't meditate as much as you, or I don't have that, spark like you do, or that energy essence in it. And I always try to tell, it's within everybody, but they do say, but how do I know?
Right. Well, there is that point of leap of faith, right? Where what I often will say is that if you're called to change your life, to move forward, to create something new, to make new choices, if you have some spiritual path, whether you meditate a lot or, your spiritual path may be nature, or some other yoga, or whatever it might be for you. You don't have to sit for an hour every day.
Right.
This is why the record keepers have given me this simple 5-step system. I actually teach you an access prayer, which is a vibrational key to move you from here to there, to create a column of energy to allow you to step into these high vibration of the Akashic field and to really receive clear information, to start a conversation. And we really do it by using these simple 5 steps and coming to understand really how to ask good questions so that we get really useful information and answers.
Interesting. So, and I think I hear a lot of people always ask, what is my soul purpose? And they might be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and they still don't know their soul purpose. Would you say that the soul purpose is found in these records because that's your wisdom and it's already planned? Is that the access to one's soul purpose?
Well, soul purpose, I think, is way more complicated than people think. So it's not a job description, right? No one really came here, to be an accountant, right? But you may have come to be of service with a propensity for numbers. And that may show up as an accountant, just like you may come to be a healer, and that may show up as a nurse or a doctor or a masseuse or a yoga instructor or a hands-on healer, or a psychic or a Akashic record consultant.
Right.
So they're not job descriptions as much as gifts and talents we have. And one of the ways the record keepers like to draw this picture is if you imagined that in each life you bring you have, say, a set of pearls or beads, whatever, and you might have 3, 4, 5 of these pearl necklaces, and what the beads or the pearls represent are gifts and talents that you've had, I'm going to say, in a similar field.
Mhm.
So if you just imagine this necklace is all my lifetimes as a healer. I might have been an herbalist in one life. I might have been a hands-on healer in another lifetime. And so I might have been part of a mystery school or a temple. I might have been a shaman. So I have these lives that have all these gifts and talents that I've learned and really, embodied. And so this is a soul lineage necklace. This is part of your soul purpose. So
Mhm.
when we come to earth, we're going to say, well, I think I'm going to take my necklace of a healer, and I might take my necklace as a writer, and maybe I'll take my necklace as a teacher or a communicator. So they're a little more general than a job description. But as we start to understand that we have quite a few different necklaces gifts and talents, sets of talents that we bring,
Yeah.
we can start to realize and validate our own lives. So you may have the mother or the father, which is, you may have the teacher and the communicator. You may have what is called the priest or priestess, or the king or the queen. Some of these, they come across more as archetypes.
Right.
Of course, server, service. And so, warrior or these are kind of archetypes, and we can look at the job descriptions that fall under these archetypes, and then we can start to see how we're experiencing them in our lives and ask specific questions in the Akashic Records to fine tune that, maybe to pick the highest and best job that's going to really support us in the gifts and talents we have.
Mhm. So you're basically saying that whatever job that we're in, to look at the bigger picture as to what we could be bringing, what energy we could be bringing to the earth at this time to open up. Like, it's not just um, that specific um, logical essence of that job. You're basically looking beyond that, like you're a service, you're in service, or you're in this way, and it's all a part of your plan. And to not look at your specific job as just that. Like, there's a bigger plan there, and there's an understory that's kind of uplifting who you are, and to engage in that in some kind of way.
Right, absolutely, right? So even if your sole purpose is to be a teacher, that doesn't mean you have to teach elementary school.
Right.
You know, I have always thought, because it can seem a little bit strange. And, I never thought of myself as a teacher until really I was in my 50s,
Yeah.
when the Akashic Masters told me to open my own school, you know. And when we're off our path, and, so my example of working in advertising was really off my path, even though it was in a creative endeavor, and I do have some of those gifts and talents. I have a degree in commercial photography, which is how I ended up in advertising, but I wasn't doing my spiritual work. So I was far enough off my path that it was actually, triggering an illness in me. And
Mhm.
so often we find that when we're really lost or off our path, or really going down, a road that is not the one of our soul plan, um, things will happen, whether it may be an illness, it could be a car accident, you might lose your job, and that could be appalling, but it might be a greatest gift for you.
Right. So what I hear you saying is that, you have this infinite line of perfection, and that knowing, that wisdom, and when you make decisions and you kind of veer off that, you're going to get told by, the record keepers that you're not on that line, and you're going to be forced back into that line to live out what you're really here for. And so when we see things happening in our life, in reference to the Millionaire's Quest, to really be able to be flexible and know that we are supported by our guides to get us back on the path. And what I want to ask you right now is there something that you could bring us through? I know you have this 5-step process. Is there something you could bring us through to give us a little bit of an experience as to what it might feel like to connect with our Akashic records, that space within us, to be able to feel our soul purpose, or to be able to help us feel, are we on the right path, and that distinguishment, that point of reference, I guess I want to say.
Sure, absolutely. So I teach a lot of kind of guided visualizations, and I call them meditations, but nothing I do is really much longer than 10 minutes because too long for me. I'm a quick meditator. This is again why I love the Akashic Records. It's great for us doers, us people who really like to be creative but move forward. And so I do lots of relatively short guided visualizations. And so let me just do a real brief one. I'm just going to connect us up in a kind of a lovely way in this column of light. And then we're going to do a little expanding out of our soul signature so that we can connect up. Very often it's a beautiful way to connect to people who will help us with our abundance of all kinds, whether it's finding soul family members or someone to start a business with or new friends or, whatever it is, whatever sort of abundance we're looking for, someone to hire us for a great job, so we'll kind of do a little quick blend of opening our group records and then expanding our soul symbol out into the universe.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Okay. So I always like to start with just a nice breath as we move from our heads and drop down into our hearts. Breathing into our hearts, letting our hearts open and expand a little further. And we ask the divine lords of unconditional love to help us center fully in this moment as we create this sacred space. Please help us to release all that no longer serves as we expand into our divine wisdom, into our Akashic knowingness, feeling the beautiful guidance and support, the beautiful silvery blue column of light as it comes around us all. And we take another breath and we let our hearts open and expand, filling our room and our house, out into the city or town, really expanding around your state or country. And we're going to be the galactic souls that we truly are and expand all the way around our world and out past the moon, out past the sun, really connecting out into outer space as we bring our personal soul symbol signature out into the universe. So just ask for whatever symbol resonates with you, with your soul. You may actually see a symbol. It could be something, simple like a heart or a triangle. It could be a musical note or a book if that's part of your soul path. Whatever it is for you. You don't even have to see it or know what it is. We set the intention that we're sprinkling our soul symbol out among the galaxies and the stars, just like stardust. And we know that people will find us and connect with us on all levels and layers. And so as we start to draw our own energy field back and back and back towards Earth, Our symbols fill that space of the galaxy. And we come in closer in near our sun and our moon, and our symbol is sprinkled out into our solar system. And as we come in around our planet, it's sprinkled all over our dear Mother Earth. And as we come into our state or our country, our symbol is sprinkled all over. And all the way into our town, our city, our community. So we come back present in our physical bodies right here and now. Taking a breath and getting nicely grounded in the physical form again. And as you come back and you can open your eyes and just know that people all over the world now, even your helpers that are not embodied, it could be your Akashic record keepers, it could be your angels, your masters, your guides. They're out there helping you too. They see the beautiful soul symbol sparkling out there in the world, in the multidimensional universe. And don't be surprised if you get some calls from people who have just popped, noticed you. You've popped into their mind. You've shown up on their radar. And I have clients all the time say, and students say, gosh, I got new clients because people are just finding me with ease and grace. And so it's a great little meditation to do. Some of my students do it every day to start to build their entrepreneurial business and their practices.
That's beautiful and wonderful. And I felt such a heaviness in my body that felt so comfortable, of an expansion and an awareness. And to know that, and I love the word that you use in the signature, because we all have our own unique signature that we're trying to express out there into what people need in that vibration, which is why I would assume from what you've been telling us, why it comes back to us with the ease, because once we're open to give and receive who we really are, in that higher vibrational level, we can, things just come, as you said, new clients, new business, new patients. And this is why it has such a connection with the Millionaire's Quest, because it is all about finding that space within you, that wisdom, that purpose, that prosperity, where you're creating nothing into something, and that nothing is you and your divine energy, and that connection that you're sharing, or that alignment, that guidance, that openness to be a channel for who you truly are is, I don't think you could ever really reach that level of fulfillment without that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful alignment. And we do, when we realize that we are each such unique souls with our own, if you imagine your soul plan is kind of like a business plan. You've made a plan for gifts and talents and service and relationships. And when we start to embody that and bring that information into our consciousness, it's so much easier, right, to move forward. We get a lot of clarity. So often, I do Akashic record readings and healings for clients to clear the old blocks, the old fears of being seen. We have so many different kinds of money blocks from past life vows, and from, family and ancestral lineage energy, and just the collective unconscious beliefs that so many people have, that money is bad, or just all of those sorts of pieces. So as we start to go in, we can actually ask those sorts of questions in our Akashic records also, like, where are my blocks? What are they connected to? What are the core beliefs? Can we clear them out of our unconscious and subconscious connections, or past lives? Sometimes we bring that karma that desire to learn and grow as a soul.
Right.
And that shows up sometimes as a block, because that's what we want to see and understand, so we can get it and change it and move forward in a different way. And that's how we heal karma.
So I guess my last question before we go into the free gift that you're offering. So we just went through that process, and like I said, I felt like a magnetic sense. I felt grounded. Is that when we know that we're connected to the Akashic Records? How do I know? And for everybody out there that is maybe not
Right.
familiar with that, how do they know that that's the vibration or frequency, the information that they're receiving? How do they know they're connected to that?
Well, honestly, that is a really big piece of it. And of course, when I teach a class, we literally take 6 weeks to go through, the steps. So, but if you feel that in your heart, you feel that opening, you feel that love, you really start to receive information. I find the record keepers to be actually very, very verbose. They're very verbal. They can give us specific information all the way down into marketing. So when we start to learn to connect to that, we move out of the place of kind of guessing, of just kind of vague intuition or goosebumps, to really deep knowing, because we're able to connect solidly, feel it in our hearts, feel it in our bodies, our energy field. Yes, like you were having that energetic experience of being held. I created a beautiful column of Akashic light around all the listeners. And so yes, you would feel that, and we come to trust that when we can create that again and again, and then have these conversations, ask specific questions, and get specific answers. So a lot of these things are a little bit of a process, but I find with having clear guidance, of course, having a 5-step prayer system, or whatever that is for you, that makes it so much easier. And the other reason I do Akashic readings and healings is that not everyone wants to learn to do something. They just want the answers. So that's what that's what I'm here to do too, right? So
you're offering many things here. So for people that just want to know, for everybody out there, you just want to kind of get to the goods and know what that is your purpose, maybe what's blocking you from it. Get the reading. It can change your life. Akashic record reading can change your life, and or you have the opportunity to learn how to access that on your own, and just to have that for yourself as your own internal wisdom. With it's a self-investment to you to have the access to this knowing of who you are. So what I'm saying, or what I'm hearing you say also, is that when you get that feeling and you get a message, trust it, move forward with it. You'll notice it's from a different place, and move forward with that. And that's so beautiful, and can be life changing, because people always ask, why is this not happening for me? They're putting all this effort in, and there could be a piece missing as to what is really your soul purpose, and what is the guided information that maybe you're not listening to, that's right there in front of you. And so we have to get out of that logical mind and really move into our soul path, because that is why we're here. We're here to embody that spirit and live that. And so with that, give us a little bit of information about the gift that you are giving, if you'd like to.
I would love to. So actually, one of the gifts, there's 3.
Okay.
One of the gifts is a video of that meditation, the soul symbol signature meditation. So if that felt good for you, you can go, there's a link to go watch that, and you can do it every day if you want, and see how that works out for you. So one of the things the Akashic record keepers always suggest is, keep a little journal. See what you get, see what starts to happen, see if you start to get some great guidance, and you can write it down and give it a try and see what happens. So the soul signature meditation is one of the gifts. There's a beautiful prayer to clear karma, which helps us to really move forward into awakening. Karma is one of our big blocks in life that everyone has. I don't think I've ever met anyone who doesn't have any karma. If they'd be enlightened, right? If you were karma free. So it's really very much about forgiveness and how that can clear karma and really shift our hearts and our lives in so many ways, and is a path to awakening.
Okay.
And the third gift is a ebook, which really answers a lot of your questions about the Akashic Records and how you can use them and utilize them. So it's about a 20-page ebook. So if you're curious about the records, you can check that out and learn a little bit more before, if you're interested in maybe having an Akashic reading or joining an Akashic Record course, maybe you want to read the ebook and see what you think.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for that generosity. I know that everybody watching would benefit from, looking into your Akashic Records. Whether you believe it or not, I can guarantee you it is a truth that is affecting what is happening in your life right now. And so this moment is about expanding into all the possibilities as to what might be blocking you, information that could be right in front of you that is actually within you to help you move forward on your journey to experience the life that you deserve. And this is one of the ways, this is why we've brought Lisa here for you to hear, because it can really change your life, really accessing, who you are, and on so many different levels, your lifetimes, this ancient wisdom that is within you. So Lisa, thank you so much for your interview, your insight, your wisdom, your knowledge. We're so appreciative of you and what you do for this world. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on, Jen. It was my pleasure.
You're very welcome. And thank you everybody for listening and tuning in. So please just click below. You can access these 3 gifts and engage with Lisa. And I know that you will have profound results from it. And don't forget to look into your inbox for our next wonderful speaker as well. And we will see you soon. Thank you so much.